Any guesses who he is? So he's born on 5th November 1988, and another miracle happened a week before, and I am born. That happened a week before, and after that, this is my first encounter with a camera. So there's an uncle who was sitting beside, who was our neighbor, who was a photographer as well, and who was owning a photo studio at that time. So I was his experimental subject. Whenever he gets that mood of clicking, right, he would ask me to come in, and he would be experimenting with me. So this is my first encounter with camera in my childhood, where I still remember this photo is framed in my house, and it's of like this big size. So this is my first encounter with camera as far as I remember in my life. And next comes, this myself in my BTech days, that's again me. And I'm not like 15 kgs or 20 kgs lighter at that time. But this point is the point where the life took a different turn. So it's not only I was pursuing my BTech from VIT, is my father and this is my mother. I wouldn't be on this stage today if it was not for them. And he's a landlord. He left everything, whatever he had at that moment, to come with me, to stay with me, to take care of me. And especially, and he's my lecturer. He's the only lecturer who was trusting or believing in me at that time. And I'll come back to this story at a later point. And when I started working back on my academics and everything, right, I was a mechanical engineer. So I started working on some projects and all. And these were some some candid moments of like that project really, the motor started working, right? That moment it was. So, and how photography started in my life was when I joined my MBA, there was this lecturer who was supposed to be the HOD, just like all your HODs. She was a HOD over there, and she called me one day and asked me like, Prudhvi, why don't you cover this orientation program which is happening? And it was the first day of our MBA college. That's the moment when I was like, okay, let me grab this opportunity only to impress her, impress the lecturer out there. That's when she brought this camera and kept it in my hand. So this is the first camera which I was using, and I never owned a camera for the next 2 to 3 years. And I was making images using this camera, which was one of my friend's camera. So all through those 2 years to 2 to 3 years, I was using only my friend's cameras. So one takeaway from this thing is, if you are passionate enough to pursue your whatever you want to do, you just need to look out for people around. There are people to help you around with what all you have made good friends of. So these are few of my friends who helped me by just giving their cameras to me for the initial couple of years, though I couldn't afford to buy a single camera. So, like everyone, even I was shooting all sunsets at the beginning point. We are all sunset and sunrise fans, right? We all start with that. So, this one sunset which is very special to me because out of some curiosity or anxiety, I just started sharing this image what I made in my college with some other colleges during their competitions. So, this one, when this started going to different colleges and it being picked as the winner for that competition, that's one moment when I slowly started gaining my confidence back. That moment is that moment where I started feeling good about myself. Till then, it was all my low phase. And one thing which I found it for myself over this journey was, every person should have a hobby. If we are not having a hobby, it's our mistake to blame the way we are living in or anything. So inculcating a hobby is a must, is something which I found for myself. And from then on, I started pursuing this in a much serious way. And I was going through depression, as I was telling you. So I wanted to see the world in a much brighter manner and colorful manner. So that's when I started getting into the streets of Hyderabad and everywhere. And that's from that point I started making these images. Be it the Charminar on the night of Eid from the Unani hospital, the bazaar over there, And to my surprise, these images all made it to all, everywhere. In social media, they made it to everything. So with that inspiration and myself being an introvert, I just wanted to make myself close to people. I never used to talk to people a lot before. So some of my relatives used to come to my house as well. I used to run into my room. So from that state, I was trying to make that relationship with human beings. I mean, for the first time, that's when I decided, like, let me get into the crowd. Let me embrace the chaos, what is available over there. That's when I started getting onto the streets. And when I made this, the Ganesh Visarjan thing, after all this is shot, the moment I took a break for 5 minutes and I was thinking a question in my mind. What would be the Bappa's opinion now during the Visarjan that he is leaving us and going? So that moment when I was seeing, I saw this hand rising from that water saying, no matter what happens, I am always going to be there with you all. So these small details or the fears, everything what you have, right? When you pursue your dreams or when you have your thoughts as pure as, God will help you in finding them, for sure. It might be late for some time, but you will definitely reach the positions which you always wanted to get to. And these are a couple of images made during Pushkaralu in Rajahmundry. And they said Holy Barsana. This is the point where I felt like, okay, let me get to this Barsana Holi and end up that colorful thing, because I traveled with color for so much time now, for around 1.5 years. That's one point where I started feeling like, okay, I think I had seen a good number of things and I felt like I started gaining back my confidence. That's when I started thinking of getting into a different form of photography. And as I always say, every genre of photography counts. It's not only the weddings, it's not only the landscape, it's not only the street photography, macro. Every form of photography counts, seriously counts. So that's when I wanted to venture into wedding photography. And I was showing you the lecturer, right? All of a sudden, after 5-6 years, he comes back to me saying that, Prudhvi, you are doing very well in photography, so I want you to cover my daughter's wedding. So I was supposed to capture her wedding as well. And this is the first wedding shot which I took in her wedding. So it's all a cycle which comes back to you at some point of time in your life again. And that's how I again started getting into the wedding photography as well. And after this, so this is something which I always felt for. I mean, a picture or a photograph for me is something like listening to some nice music or reading a nice poem or listening to some nice lyrics. I always related photography with some different art form as well, linked up with that. So that moment is when I started pursuing landscape photography. And from there on, I never looked back. I mean, it really helped me in healing up so many things. So for example, I had a shot of this before where the dog wasn't there in the frame. So I was looking for I was patiently sitting there waiting for something to happen. I was not very happy with that shot which I made. Then all of a sudden, this dog comes and poses for you. I mean, you don't plan for anything, it comes and poses for you. So that's what I mean. Being patient is something which I learned again from photography as well. So this is another shot which we made at Somoriri Lake. This is another one special shot for me because though it was looking so bright over there, the temperatures over there was 2 degrees and it was horrible to wake up and get to that lakeside early in the morning. I am very fond of shooting from flights. I mean, I had a fear of heights in my childhood. How I conquered that was whenever I was traveling from a place to place, right? Shooting from flights was my favorite hobby after a while. So it helped me conquer that fear as well. And all through that, I mean, so, and when it comes to patience, this is another shot which I like to share. We know that this in Hyderabad again. For this to happen, 4 months prior to this shot, I got to see sun setting at some different point in the city. So that's when I planned like, okay, might be after some couple of months, this might come into the horizon line. That's when I planned for this shot. And what landscape photography teaches you is to stay patient, to do your things consistently on a regular manner, and take your own inspirations. But one thing, what I was learning or what I was trying to make it out was having my own eye for myself. So Taj Mahal, I mean, anyone who goes to Taj Mahal or anyone you ask in this world would say Taj Mahal is the most beautiful place, right? But once you go there, I mean, you should have your own eye towards it. So that's when I started experimenting with a lot of compositions as well. And certain things like this, this shot at Hampi, and he's a 90-year-old priest who is doing the puja to that Badavalinga over there for the past 85 years. So, who can be more consistent than him? So, and portraiture for me was very tough to take because whenever I was pursuing that, right, I mean, whenever I wanted to capture the portrait of a person, I only used to click the shutter button only when I used to feel that person or someone sharing some thought or communicating some idea to you. The moment I saw this girl on the street in Nashik Kumbh Mela, the only thing which was coming up to my mind was education is my right. So it shook me very badly, and it took me some time to again get back into portraiture for a while. And in Munnar, I mean, we wanted to make some portraits over there as well, but I didn't want it to go with this. What I tried was, I asked this person to pose in that mirror. Every one of us have a different face, right? I mean, we are not exactly the same person whom we portray into the world. We all of us have a different face too. That's why I named this as the demon within. And that's when, when I was pursuing all these different forms of photography, one thing which get back to me was, when do you seriously have to consider getting into, or when should you turn your passion into your profession? That's the big question now. So I'll tell you, you don't need to get approvals from your parents, society, friends. I mean, they are all opinions. Opinions would be there. After you die as well, people make opinions about you. So the only thing which I took for myself is, when you are confident about the work you are doing when you are confident about the body of work you are creating, that moment, right, the siren bell will ring. It will tell you, pursue what your passion is. So though I was working as an IT analyst, I was never happy that I was working as an IT analyst. I was very, very proud to say that I could balance out my time for being as an analyst as well as being a photographer. So all I would like to say here is, it's completely okay to balance out both the things. After doing your engineering, if someone wants to be a dancer, someone wants to be a photographer, someone wants to be something, doesn't need to be like you have to stop studying today itself and go and apply somewhere over there. Everyone has to finish up their basic educations, and when the bell rings for you that okay, you are very confident enough of what you wanted to pursue, that's the moment only when we have to go for it. That's when I started thinking about, okay, I started feeling confident about the body of work what I'm making. That's moment I was thinking about where should I head now. So I do all kinds of photography. I do portraiture, I do weddings, I do landscape, I do street, I do food at times. So one thing which came to my mind was, I think I should be getting into stock photography, which caters to everything. That's when I joined Picxy, and over there, I'm proud to say I took the first challenge of photographing Indian Army. So I would like to show a couple of things what I did in the month of January for Indian Army. We shot it exclusively for Indian Army. But this remains to be my most favorite shot again. Because he's a soldier who's coming from the Kargil area, and it's his 1-month-old baby, and he met his baby at the headquarters over there in Delhi. So these are the stories which keep you moving at times, and photography is something that it's beyond the camera, it's beyond the techniques. It is that emotion which connects humans. It is that emotion which should make us better human beings at the end of the day. And as I always say, try to make good photographs, not the beautiful ones. Because beautiful ones happen when you are in pursuit of your good photographs. Beautiful ones will come once in a while, but good photographs are something which will stay forever. Thank you.